Hello and welcome. My name is Scotty Reed. I am the president of the Black Talk Media Project and the primary manager of the podcasting network, blacktalkradionetwork.com. In this online tutorial class, Podcasting 101, in this particular episode, I will focus on free tools that you can use to create a podcast. And I had planned to do this podcast this week, but I saw a guy had posted a question in a podcasting group on social media that I belong to, and he asked the question, how can two people start a podcast as cheap as possible without spending a whole lot of money? And as I indicated to him and informed him of tonight's class, is that really you could get away with just a $20 USB microphone that plugs into your laptop or your desktop, whether it's a Mac or a PC. So I'm actually going to record a podcast on freeconferencecallhd.com. I believe that's the name of it. We'll verify that. I haven't used it in a while, but I have been familiarizing myself with it because it's been years since I used it. Also, for the sake of time, on my part, I'm going to record this podcast using a free piece of software called But Broadcasting, and I'll make sure I'll put that link in the description wherever you see this tutorial. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is share our screen so we can get logged in to this free tool to record podcasts. You don't even have to have any equipment, really. You could just use a phone, but you want to keep in mind how you sound. I heard people on phones on these platforms and they sound great. I've heard others, not so much. All right, so, but you can use a USB microphone and call in from your computer, and that'll enhance your sound a little. I prefer the way my sound comes across when I use But to record as opposed to a free conference call platform. But again, you got to work with what you got to work with, right? So I'm going to show you how to work with freeconferencecallhd.com. So you want to set up your free account. Then you want to go ahead and log in. Now, what I like about Free Conference Call HD, which is not paying me, by the way, to use them as an example in this online class, is just that I'm familiar with them and I know other people who use it and it gets the job done. It allows you to do interviews over the phone, obviously, and you can record those and turn them into a podcast. So the first thing I want to do though is, let's say I'm not too proficient at using audio editors to post edit my podcast and add some intro music and some outro music, even though that's my preferred way to do it. I can also just once I log in, go to Broadcaster. And then I want to upload my MP3 audio file. Now, even once you do these things, it's not uploading. Where's the window to upload? Not seeing it. Where is it? Don't understand why it's not working. There it go. All right, let me go ahead and upload my intro clip. Sorry about that hiccup. It's my intro clip. We're going to go ahead and upload that. It's only 15 seconds long. I would recommend not going over a minute with your intro music. And by the way, use copyright-free intro music whenever possible. Anytime you're including music in your podcast, you either got to have permission by the copyright holder, or you can get some of this copyright-free instrumentals that you can find all over the internet, including YouTube. For those YouTube producers and whatnot, they have had those audio ads. All right, so I've uploaded it. So now let me go back to my conference view. All right, now I want to I'm gonna call in from my computer instead of calling in from a phone. So I'm gonna click on voice over IP dialer. I'm the account holder or the primary host, so it's going to pre-populate the number I'm supposed to call in the code. So all I had to do was hit call.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. You are the only participant in the conference. The recording has started.
Now, I'm starting this recording early to stop that music because I don't want to talk over that music. Okay. If I had another person dialed in, the music would stop. But since it's just me and I'm doing a pre-recorded, pre-scripted podcast, I'm just hitting record right now to stop it. I mean, to stop the music. All right. So let's go ahead and do this podcast. Let me pull up make sure I got my podcast script up. Okay, that's the wrong one. Let me pull up the other one. Okay, good. All right, so let me do a couple of things here. Move this over here. Let me stop sharing for a second and make sure I get this thing working right. What I want to actually share is my entire screen. So my desktop. So let's go ahead and share my desktop. Where is my desktop? Let's go ahead here. Let's see if I share like that. Okay, so it should be showing everything now. Let's hope that's the case for my sake. Let's see, you are screen sharing. Okay, all right, everything looks good. All right, let me minimize that. Let me get my script up. It's going to be this one. Oh, I do need my title. That's what I need. And yes, I do sometimes share my script with the public for the hearing impaired who can't listen to a podcast. I will just publish the script as an article or something, okay? But let's go ahead. Let me see. Kaepernick spelled wrong. Possibly we'll check that out later. Okay, so now I need to put this in the corner. Let's go ahead and pull up free conferencing. It's going to be here. Okay, once I start reading, I can just minimize the window. Okay, let's see. Go ahead and do it like that. All right, let's stop the recording. Then I'm going to start it. But first, let me open the broadcaster. Open link in another tab. Slide it over because I want easy access to be able to play my intro. Again, you don't have to do it this way. You could use Audacity, which is a free audio editor, and go ahead and add your music that way, which I guess I can show you since I'm going to record this as well. Let me go ahead and start this recording. I can edit it. So let me turn up my volume a little bit. This is Butt Broadcaster. Just type that into a search engine. It's a free download. We also use this to stream live digital radio streams and digital radio streams. Yeah, but you can also pre-record a podcast. So let's go ahead. All right, get that out the way. Now we are going to record our podcast. So let me stop it and then start this recording.
This session is no longer being recorded. The recording has started.
Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name is Scotty Reed. Today we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick, who is on a quest to sell the public on police and prison abolition. Before going into the issues concerning abolishing the police, abolishing prisons, and the incorrect conclusion that policing and prisons are rooted in white supremacy, let's give Colin Kaepernick his due and recognize his sacrifice to elevate a nation's consciousness on matters of the intersection of race and the police state. My criticism of the ideology of abolishing prisons and police which isn't new but has gained traction in political discourse over the past several years, as documented by the award-winning podcast New Abolitionist Radio. This is not an attack on Kaepernick, the man, but rather an intellectual challenge to the conclusions he and others before him have come to, that abolishing said government institutions is the solution to address issues in those institutions. Over the next month, Kaepernick wrote that he hopes that readers will confront the white supremacist underpinnings of policing and prisons and the state-sanctioned oppression, destruction, and execution of Black and Indigenous people and people of color. Another world is possible, a world grounded in love, justice, and accountability, a world grounded in safety and good health, a world grounded in meeting the needs of the people, he concluded. Abolition now, abolition for the people. Now, I fully believe in abolition as a prison slavery abolitionist, looking at the fact that slavery was never abolished. It is true the police or law enforcement enforced the laws that regulated slavery, like the Fugitive Slave Act. Yes, it is true that the police grew out of the community slave patrols made up usually of poor non-land owning whites. We no longer have those slave patrols. They were abolished after the American Civil War. But what replaced them were police who were enforcing a new form of slavery made possible by the 13th Amendment, which represents the North's overeagerness to appease the states and people who supported the Confederacy and allow them to maintain slavery by another name. Racism isn't the root of policing. Policing has been used as a function of population control. The root of both racism and policing is slavery, which preceded the legal codification of race in the 1600s. Abolishing the police will never happen. It's a pipe dream in a society with so much gun violence. And as Kaepernick intimated, community solutions, well, quite frankly, a portion of the gun violence in the community could be described as vigilantism, where you kill my homeboy, so I kill you and your homeboys. I also do not believe the majority of U.S. citizens will buy into abolishing prisons. I do think there is a chance we can transform these spaces by reducing society's reliance on them and creating humane conditions for those who have committed heinous crimes against persons that seek to treat the underlying conditions of how people become rapists, murderers, and robbers. I am looking forward to reading the essays that will be presented by Mr. Kaepernick and breaking down whatever is put forth. This has been Scotty Reed with a BTR News Podcast. Support this podcast and the Black Talk Radio Network platform with a tax-deductible donation today. We depend on you for our survival as we near our 13th anniversary in November 2020. Donate at blacktalkradionetwork.com. Just look for the big donate button.
This section.
Okay, so I have stopped recording. I can go ahead and hang up. And that recording should be ready here in just a bit. Let me go to history and recordings. It usually doesn't take that long. All right, so it's still recording. So let me go ahead and stop my other recording using but. Now, while that recording is populating on freeconferencecallhd.com, let me go ahead and use some free software called Audacity to make edits and add that same music to my podcast I just recorded and any other edits I might want to make. So let's see. Let me import audio. Again, this is Audacity. Go to my file folder. See BTR News 2020, or did it go to all podcasts? It could have went to all podcasts. I think that's where I'll put it, actually. Let's see. It's podcast stats. Okay, it's just going to podcast. So today is the 24th. That will be it right there. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to make this recording stereo. I had it recording. No, record. Let me see, audio. I would have with here testing. All right, but I don't have to do it over because what I can do, just say those settings, is go ahead and duplicate this track here. So I'm gonna click on the track. I'm gonna go to edit, find duplicate. Once I hit duplicate, go to the arrow on the top track right there and make the track stereo. Problem solved. Now let's give it a quick listen. Let's go ahead. All right, get that out the way. Now we are going to record our podcast. So let me stop it. Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name, okay, that music was coming in very low, which I don't have my computer right now set up to record everything through, but that plays on my computer. So what I'm going to do is highlight that, hit silence, and silence all of that. All right, so let's see. Let me see where the start is at. Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name is Scotty Reed. Today we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick. What I'm going to do is maximize this view so I can do some edits if I need to. So welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name is Scotty Reed. Today we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick, who is on a... All right, so I don't have to listen to the whole thing. I'm right now just looking at the audio waves to see if there's any long pauses that I might want to get rid of, like here. 1600s. Abolishing the police. Okay. So unless you can get things perfect in one take, that's why it's good to have some audio editor like Audacity. Abolishing the police will never. And I actually do have a podcaster I work with, Angel Fall, who does Victims to Victorious. I'm her executive producer. She's good at getting it in one take. All right, so that should be the end right there. Look for the big donate button. Okay, now let me get rid of that. Okay, now let me go ahead and up my audio a little bit. I'm gonna select all. Let me see effect. Let's amplify that to -3 decibel, 3.0. Okay, allow clipping. Okay. All right. So that up my audio. Now let me go ahead and import my music. Okay, there's my music. Let's go ahead and take out some of this silence. Take it up right there where the music drops down low. Obviously, I'll use Audacity to edit that music file, to cut it to 15 seconds and make a portion of it audio drop down lower as I start to talk. So let's see how that sounds. Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name is Scotty Reed. All right, perfect. So I want to put an intro. I'm just going to use the music Just down low, hit copy, go down here on the same track and hit paste and put it right there. Control V. Yeah, that's good enough. See how that sounds. Our 13th anniversary in November 2020. Donate at blacktalkradionetwork.com. Just look for the big donate button. All right, so I'm done with that one. We'll go ahead and export it. Still not finished with it though. And I have other tutorials on the individual software, but I'm showing you start to finish on this particular one. I want to go to 2020. We want to say, name it. See, BTR News. It is the 24th, 10/24. Okay. Go ahead and save it. Go ahead and load my tags for BTR News. Go ahead and put in the title. These are your Mp3 tags or your metadata tags. People call them different things. So now while that's doing that, let's go ahead and pull up and see if our recording is ready. On freeconferencecallhd.com. Let me see history and recordings. So I still don't see it yet. Let me see. Broadcaster, maybe it's in broadcaster. Yeah, that appears to be where it is. So this is how it sounds on there. And again, unless you can get it in one take, you will need an audio editor, and Audacity is free. All right, so let's go ahead and play that. Not hearing anything right now. Maybe it's not meant for me to hear it here. It's meant for me to go like this. Click on the play button to play that file. Now I'm starting this recording early to stop that music because I don't want to talk over that music. Okay, if I had another person recorded, pre-scripted, let me pull up my make sure I here, move this share like that. Looks good. All right, let me minimize that. Yes, I will just. All right, let's stop the recording. Then I'm going to start it. But first, let me open the broadcaster. Easy access to Audacity, which is a free audio of this as well. Let me go ahead and start this recorder. Just type that into a search pre-recorded podcast. So let's go ahead. All right, get that out the way. Now we are going to record our podcast. So let me stop it and then start this recording. Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. So it starts around the 4-minute mark. So let's go ahead and actually download this. Don't want to copy it. Recording URL if I wanted to share it. How do I download it? Okay, let me go back. And we will download it here. And then import it into Audacity. So let's just import it in the podcast. See how that looks. Okay. Now we will open it in Audacity. Go new, import audio, and I believe that's it right there, right? I think so. No, that's not it. It's in podcasts. Okay, the podcast folder. Okay, let's see if we can find that. See, 2020, that's not it. It's going to be look different. There it is right there. So let's import it. And as you can see, it will be in a single audio file. So again, go to click on it, go to edit, duplicate, click on the arrow on the top track, make stereo track. Now we want to find the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to select, let me see, select from the track start to the cursor. We're going to delete that. Let's open this up just a little bit. Want to get rid of that click right there. Okay, and we'll get rid of that. Okay, I obviously then start talking. Welcome to Black Talk Radio News. My name is Scotty Reed. Today we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick, who is on a quest to sell the public on. Okay, let's see. I'm just look for the big donate button. Okay, now I can edit that out. Get rid of some of this. Hold up. Let's listen. All right, we are going to just get rid of that. I'm doing a little different than the other one, I know. And just hit effect and fade out. All right, so that podcast is done. Now we can just export it like we did the last, okay? And it'll be the same exact process as when I did the recording from Butt. All right, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to really show you except for um, Mp3 Tag Editor, another piece of free software. Let me go ahead and add a picture, which Audacity does not do. Add a picture to my podcast MP3. So let me hit cancel. I hit the wrong thing there. I want to change directories. I want to go to BTR News. I want to go to 2020, select folder. Let's see where it is, 1024. The only thing missing is my image. So I right click, add cover, and there we go. And now this podcast is ready to be uploaded to my podcasting platform, wherever you podcast at, and they accept MP3 podcasts. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let me say that again, make sure. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So pretty simple, right? All free software, the free conference calling platform. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I am using a mixer, but hey, you can find you a USB mixer that just plugs into your mic or your desktop and get by with that. If you don't have a whole lot of money to spend on equipment and mixers and things of that nature, maybe you can't even get a USB microphone because you can't afford it. Times is tough right now. That still does not mean you cannot create podcasts and get those distributed. This has been Scotty Reed for the Black Talk Media Project with another Podcasting 101 online class. Share this information for those you think may need it. The information is free, sharing it with you freely, but I strongly encourage you to support this work and future work by making a donation to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. You can go to blacktalkradionetwork.com, as you heard on the podcast that I created, and you'll see the big donate button. All right, peace and blessings to all.